There is nothing more satisfying than having a clean palette full of freshly refilled pans. If you are a watercolorist and your pans are empty and you want to refill them from tubes, then this is the video for you because I'm going to show you how to do just that. But before we do that, hey, what's up, friend? My name is Julian. I'm a professional artist and I take a lifetime of learning and painting and distill it down into bite-sized chunks for you. So if you want to paint more and paint better, then please like this video, subscribe to this channel, and click that notification bell so I can help you become that artist you've always dreamed of. All right, let's fill those pans. Okay, so before we start filling these pans, I just have to say that I have posted a lot of videos on my Instagram about how to refill and clean your palette. And I've gotten so many comments from people horrified that I clean my palette and clean out the pans before I refill them because I'm wasting paint. Something that's so ironic about this is that I hear so many people complaining about muddy colors. And of course you're gonna get muddy colors if you're starting with muddy colors. So if you wanna paint with clean and vibrant colors, then you have to start with fresh, clean colors. It is insane to me to keep your palette dirty so you don't waste it, and then you don't have any space so you have to mix it on the dirty paints. No, I'm just gonna clean it off. So the steps that are involved with this are cleaning this palette out, cleaning each one of these pans out, letting them dry, and then refilling them, and then letting that cure. Here we go. All right, so the first step is to take all of these out and to start soaking this palette so I can get all that off. And while that is soaking, what I do now is I go through each one of these and I just clean it off really well and get in there and get all of the dirty mixed up paints out of there. You can see even in this one, I have like a hair in it. Like, what is that? Ugh. Okay, we got a new cat a little bit ago, so I think this is a little bit of cat hair, but sometimes I take my palettes out on adventures and I'll get like grass and stuff in them, so you just gotta clean it out. And any of that like nasty paint that's built up in there, just get it out. And I usually put these upside down on a paper towel, but I don't have a paper towel right now, so they're just gonna go upside down on this cloth, and make sure you get any paint off of the edges and just clean it up. Hang that right there. Okay, so if you saw me wash off some of the names that I had written on the side of my pans, for me that's okay because I know exactly which colors I have, whether they're labeled or not. But I had to label all of my paints when I was getting to know them. So if you are getting to know your paint colors still, I highly recommend you keep Sharpie labels or permanent marker labels on the side of your pans while you're getting to know them, because it is absolutely critical that if you want to be a color master, the real artist you know you can be deep down inside, a professional artist, maybe sell your art someday, or even a super amazing hobbyist that just makes amazing art, you have to know the colors of your pigments. So if you happen to wash that off, just write it back on. And if you are interested in learning more about how to be a color master and leave the world of frustrated mud making to color mixing mastery, I invite you to check out my free color mixing workshop where I share 3 secrets about color mixing that nobody is telling you. That link to that free workshop is down below in the description. Feel free to hop in there and peek behind the door of color mixing mastery. I can't wait to see you there. All right, so now it is time to fill it up. So one question I hear some of you guys asking already is, what happens if you get to the end of a pan and there's still some paint in it but you don't have that exact same color anymore, what do? Maybe you just wait all the way until it's over, or maybe, like in my case or my students' cases, we will know which colors could replace it so it mixes the same way. So as an example, this is a cadmium red hue, but I don't have cadmium red in a tube anymore. And I didn't want to buy it because I wanted to kind of expand my horizons with some other pigments. The first round of pigments I used for the first couple of years, so I mastered those colors, those pigments, and knew exactly how to mix with them. So this time I'm going to be using vermilion red. I don't think this is the highest quality paints, but I'm not creating gallery work with these right now, so I'm not too worried about it. So if you have that exact same paint, I highly recommend you use that. However, if you know how your paints work, you can refill it with a color that is going to replace the purpose of this. So cadmium red is a warm red, vermilion is a warm red. It will pretty much do the same. There might be a slight alteration of hues in there, but that's just kind of exciting and I'm not worried about it. So let's start with this. So this is almost empty, but not quite. And what I am going to do is fill it so it gets into all of the crooks and crannies, and fill it up and make it as level as possible. I've gotten a lot of questions on whether the paints will dry and crack. However, because this is a half pan instead of a full pan, I have never had a problem with my paints cracking. Sometimes you'll get, small deviations in the surface, but it doesn't fall out of here. It stays in here and it works totally fine. So maybe if these pans were larger, I would be concerned about it. And in that case, you could probably fill it halfway and then let it cure and then refill the second half. But I just fill it as much as I can and let it dry. Some colors, like these colors, for example, my Naples and my Ochre, my English Venetian, I don't really use them that much, so I don't need to refill them this time. And this time I'm actually going to fill one with cobalt. I usually just use ultramarine and cerulean. Those are my two go-to primary blues, but this time I feel like experimenting more with cobalt, which is an unbiased blue. If you want to learn more about color bias, then you'll want to check out this video right here, where I talk all about color bias. The video is right here. Boop, 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 boop. So now I'm just going to stick them back in here. By the way, if you're wondering why I didn't refill this is my black and I don't use it that much. Like, I don't think I've ever refilled this pan. So that's why I'm not going to refill it, because I'll probably go through that in a year or 2 years. And that's because I mix my own blacks. So now you want to put that somewhere dry, relatively warm, so it will cure and dry out. All right, so this is a couple of days after. It's still pretty soft. So it's still not cured yet. Okay, so the paints are finally cured and I wanted to show them to you, but one thing I thought that was really interesting that I am excited to show you is, remember when I was filling these from the tubes, I said some of the tubes are super cheap? Well, I bought the tubes when I was in a paint store, and I usually buy them online because I know what colors I want and what brands I'll accept, like what the high quality brands are. And this time I just was going to test them out just because I think it's always worth it. And I'm happy I did, because now I get to show you what happens when you use cheap paint. Okay, so first of all, you can see that these are all cured, and you can see that because it's hardened. So a couple of days ago it was still a little soft, but now it's hardened. And this is a high quality paint. It looks fine. There was a little air bubble in it. That's not like a legit crack or anything, but that looked pretty good. This is high quality blue paint. It's fine. That's cobalt. Yep. And this one is, I think this is one of the, oh, that's gamblers. That's pretty good too. And you can see that there's like a little bit of pulling away. That's what happens when all the moisture dries out of it. And that's not a big deal because when I get this wet, it's just going to kind of fill it all in, you know, so no big deal. But these are the cheap paints that I got, and you can see how much they pulled away and dried up from the edges, which is kind of irritating. It's not the end of the world. And I'm not using these for, I'm not going to be using these to paint for a gallery or anything or selling original work. So I'm not too worried about it. And again, I always think it's worth it to just kind of test out some different brands to see what you get. For my watercolor journals, this is not a big deal, but you can see what happens when you use super cheap paint. And I could go in and like fill this all in and let it cure again, but I am not worried about it. Okay, well that is it. I hope that you enjoyed learning how to refill your pans from tubes. Hey friends, Editing Julian here. I just want to remind you that if you are wondering what tubes you should be getting to fill the pans in the first place, go and check out my free color mixing workshop. The link is down below in the description. I show you and walk you through some of the colors that I use in my palette, and you might be interested too. So again, that free workshop link is down below in the description. So I'm super curious, have you been wanting to do this, or do you already do this, refilling your pans from tubes? If so, drop a comment below and let me know. I would love to know if you are team tube or team pan, or if you are team refill pans from tubes like I am. Now, just because you are a watercolorist doesn't mean that you have to stick to watercolor. Last week I made a video all about a big mural I made in Bozeman, Montana years ago. I'd been sitting on the time lapse for 7 years, and I finally shared it and talked about 3 lessons I learned from that journey. So if you are trying to up-level your skills as an artist, you're definitely gonna wanna check that out. Looking for you, you don't have to go anywhere. You can just click on it because it's coming up right now.